What's good, everybody? Welcome to Triple Threat Wrestling Radio. And here we go. All right, everybody, and welcome to a special Wednesday edition of Triple Threat Wrestling Radio, or you can call it TTW. Jeff doesn't like TTW for some reason. It sounds like you have to tinkle. TT, TTW, gotta tinkle. TTW, TT. I want to thank everybody for listening tonight. Thank you for your time. I'm going to be on Wednesdays for the next 3 weeks, starting tonight. And we off to a late start. I gave Smooth Gentleman the green light to go a little bit late. He was interviewing Scotty Wiggs. He did a fantastic job, and I was also on his show a little bit earlier. I was on a segment called from the fans. We talked a little bit about the Hall of Fame and WrestleMania, which I'm gonna talk more about that throughout the show. I'm gonna go things in reverse for tonight. Normally I start things off with WWE, but I'm gonna start off with TNA. I'm gonna kick things off with some Impact Wrestling. I'm going in reverse, and I got some interviews scheduled tonight, so I'm gonna get into that. By all means necessary, please check out Smooth Gentleman's show, Court of Champions. That show is fantastic. This man has a great mind for wrestling. This man is more than just a fan. He's very passionate about it. He watches it. He dissects it. He gets into, match after match. He gives you the lowdown of wrestling in sorts. He focuses on lucha libre. He focuses on other Japan wrestling. He focuses on all things. He's been on the ITMI radio for 3 weeks, and he's doing a fantastic job. This show focused on WWE and TNA. This man focused on other aspects. And I encourage you all to check out more than WWE and TNA. That's up to you, the listeners out there. There's Ring of Honor. There's New Pro Japan Wrestling. There's Ohio Valley Wrestling, which Andrew and we at the state of OVW. There is WSU. There's Shimmer. There's Indie Pro Wrestling throughout this country. Support Indie Pro Wrestling, people, because a lot of people you see in WWE, TNA, they got their start in the indie circuit. Support Indie Pro Wrestling, people. I'll leave it at that. I also gonna have the 1 year anniversary of Triple Threat Wrestling Radio 2 weeks from tonight, April the 11th. I can now confirm Primetime Amy Lee, WSU. She's calling in. Every time Amy Lee is on this show, it's a lot of fun, and I'm bringing her back. Casey Carlisle, wrestler from the East Coast. She's calling in to celebrate with me as well. We're going to get caught up with both wrestlers, see what they've been up to as of late. Again, I'm live on a Wednesday evening. Let me go ahead and get into the TNA recap. Of course, Impact was on last Thursday night. Of course, they are on the road to Lockdown pay-per-view. And there's some things I like, some things I don't like. Andrew, I'm doing fantastic. Hope you well. This is what I don't like. The ODB and Eric Young storyline. I have tons of respect. I have tons of respect for ODB and Eric Young. Let me point that out. I got a lot of respect for them both, especially ODB with her crazy ass. But them being, I don't have a problem with them falling in love and that storyline. It's them being knockout tag team champions. Now I understand, you know, with the storylines, males can win female titles and vice versa. For some reason, I just don't like it. I'm all for the wedding. I'm all for them falling in love. I just don't want them as their quote unquote knockout tag team champions. I don't know how y'all feel about it, but I think it's just the them being champions. I just don't like it. I have a lot of respect for Eric Young and ODB. I just don't like them being champions. But then again, the knockout tag team titles, not that big of a deal. Not a prolific championship. That's not something you put on your resume and be proud of it. Like, look at me. I was a former knockout tag team champion. Yeah. Did you win the tag team titles? Did you win the world heavyweight title? If not, then not so much. I don't think they are weird. I think they are match made in heaven. And I believe they're gonna have the wedding in a couple of weeks. They're gonna have the wedding in a couple of weeks, and if you've been watching wrestling as long as I have, you know the wedding is not gonna go off nice and smooth. No pun intended to smooth gentlemen. Things, you know, when you watch these shows and these weddings, they don't necessarily go the way that a real life wedding goes. Chaotic things happen. Chaotic things happens in these wrestlings and wrestling shows. Um, and then you have Sting telling Dixie Carter, "Hey Dixie, I can't be part-time wrestler and part-time GM," which pretty much what Sting's been doing for quite a while now. I'm a fan of the Stinger. I'm in a yeah but kind of mood when it comes to TNA. Uh, to me, it's time to start getting some young bucks out there. Time to get some young guys out there. You can't rely on the 45s and 50-year-olds to lead your company. Got to get some youth. I talked about this with Smooth Gentleman. As far as Triple H and Undertaker, like Booker T said, it's a young man's game. The 45 and the 50-year-olds, you know, especially those that are established, like Triple H and Undertaker, give the Kofi Kingstons, the Dolph Zigglers, the Jack Swaggers, give them some times. Give them their time. Give them their moment. It's their time now. They're young and hungry. So Sting informs Dixie Carter that I'm going to take a hiatus. And I want you to pick Hulk Hogan to be the general manager. Now, we all know what happened the last time that happened. That's when Immortal came about. Now, the whole Immortal thing, I'm surprised they are still being labeled as a stable. Like you hear, like for example, Gunner has his matches, and yet Mike Tenay and Taz still say it's Gunner for Immortal. I didn't even know they were still a stable, to tell you the truth. I thought they done blown that stable up and let everybody else do their own thing. Look, TNA needs some ratings other than the Knockouts division. They need some higher ratings than the Knockouts division. You know, the Knockouts, best believe, they're going to bring it every single week. But when the rest of your show is not up to where the knockouts is, rating rise, it's a problem. Hulk Hogan, popular guy. He's gonna to make people watch. But Hulk Hogan, how old is he? Is he 60, 70 years old or something? And yet his weeks removed from the whole sex tape scandal. I'm a bit surprised he's brought back weeks removed from all that. I thought that Hulk Hogan needed to sort that out before he can get back on television. No, I think he's older than that, Andrew. He's in the 60s somewhere. He's in the 60s. I think he's definitely in the 60s. No way he's in the 50s. He's been around before both of us was even born. uh oh, 60. Yeah, I was right. I was right there in the 60s area. So, 58 years old. Okay, well, I was 2 years off. I said in the 60s, he's 58. Well, he's pretty damn close, if you ask me. The main reason I watched TNA in the first place was because of their X division. The AJ Styles, the Samoa Joes, the Christopher Daniels, the Kazarians. You know, those guys. Now they move on to bigger things. Who do you have in the X division now? Let's go through a couple of names. Austin Aries. He's the current X Division champion. You also have Zema Ion. You also have Kid Cash. You also have Jesse Sourcine once he comes back from his injury. And I guess you can count the Motor City Machine Guns. It's not like they have moved on to win the TNA World Titles. Neither of them. They tag team champions. They were former X Division champions, but they never moved up into that heavyweight title picture. I will say that this X Division right now, obviously, as far as big names, not as big. I feel like I'm starting to lose interest in the X Division. That was the main reason I watched it. The X Division and the Knockouts. The Knockouts gonna have me interest regardless. I mean, it is the Knockouts division. Mickey James, Terror. Mickey James, Terror, Angeline Love, Madison Rain, Rosita, Sarita. I think Sarita should be a contestant on Dancing with the Stars, considering she loves to dance all over the ring. But that's here and there. That's another topic for another day. Sarita should be on Dancing with the Stars. She loves to dance a lot. She loves to do a little salsa and whatnot. I think she would make a heck of a good contestant. Then you have some other things going on. Mexican America came back as a tag team. Akita, who's been with OVW for quite a while. He's been teaming up with Raul LaMotta. And now he reunited with Hernandez. And let's just say that their car got totaled. Both Mexican America, Akita and Hernandez took on Joe and Magnus for the tag team titles. And they lost. And of course, Sarita and Rosita challenged Eric Young, ODB, for the Knockout Tag Team titles. They also lost, and they lost their car. Holmes, Vacto. I'm very intrigued into what James Storm and Bobby Roode gonna do. Bobby Roode, I think he's the best wrestler at TNA right now. Bobby Roode, ever since that Bound for Glory It's like things started to he started to get that push. Can you believe it? James Storm and Bobby Roode, and here's the thing. I did not know that TNA reached its 10-year anniversary. This is their 10-year anniversary. This is uh this is also Wing of Honor's 10-year anniversary, 2012. It's unbelievable. They both debut around the same time. Um Bobby, ever since Bound for Glory series last year, he started to blow up, and he's the champion, and rightfully so. I like Bobby Roode. He's to me, he's their best wrestler right now. If CM Punk's the best in the WWE, I go with Bobby Roode over TNA. He's on top right now. James Storm, that should be a matchup come lockdown. Um, and of course, Garrett Bischoff, 3-minute challenge with Kurt Angle, and of course came interference from Gunner and Hardy. Of course, Jeff Hardy would face Kurt Angle at lockdown. Steel cage match. Every single match will be a steel cage match for the lockdown pay-per-view. I love it. I'm going to see this movie, The Marine 3. Won't believe who's in it. Randy Orton. Unbelievable. Randy Orton doing a movie? Well, he's done one before, but this will probably fit him very well, because he likes to kick butt and stuff. So I'm very intrigued about a lot of things, and yet there's some things I'm like, I don't know. Holy smokes. I just realized something. I forgot to turn my Skype on. I totally forgot to turn my Skype on. I'm turning my Skype on right now because I'm aware that the first guest is going to be calling in right now. I let Smooth borrow my Skype, and when he went off the air, I just went on to start the show, and I said to myself I was going to open up my Skype at some point, and now here we are, 8:30, about 20 minutes in, and I've yet to open my Skype. So while I have Skype opening up right now, let's see what else happened last week. Storm defeated Kazarian and Christopher Daniels. Be on the lookout for that. Sting, not Sting, but Storm. James Storm defeated Kazarian and Christopher Daniels. This whole love triangle between Daniels and Styles and Kazarian starting to creep me out. Over who's best friends with who. I don't know what it is, but it's just that, Styles and Daniels and Kazarian is so talented, but it's just something about those guys. I don't know. Yeah, I did watch the press conference earlier today. It was unwatchable. CM Punk was the more interesting person out of everyone. Hands down. I watched all of it today. It was unwatchable. And some of the people at the podium need to work on their public speaking skills. Like, I understand you in the podium, you get nervous, you try to say the right things, you try not to stutter or whatever. But man, that mayor of Miami, and this is what we do know for sure. A lot of wrestlers, the public speaking You need that. You need that for real. I'll tell you that right now. I'll tell you that right now. Not only that, Andrew, but there was guys chanting "Take your shirt off" to CM Punk, and he was a bit disturbed. he was caught off guard. He wasn't disturbed. He was caught off guard. Hey, you got male fans. They gonna chant for you, but when they chant you to take your shirt off in the Miami sunny weather in South Beach, CM Punk needs to take a look at his male fans. It's like, don't you ever say that again. A lot, and it was. What was the actual weather? I don't know. What was the actual weather? It had to be the 90s or 95 degrees. Chris was not. He was in Miami. A lot of the wrestlers should be in Miami by now, but obviously, Smooth Gentleman and myself a little bit earlier. What we talked about was the storyline between Jericho and Punk. Smooth Gentleman does not like the whole Jericho mentioning Punk's family members like that. And I agree. Like, talk about the championship. Talk about WrestleMania. Family members are off limits. I'm not feeling it at all. My first guest is about to call in right now, and I'd like to apologize to my first guest, Miss Rachel, indie pro wrestler out of Tennessee. Some of you may know her as Pandora. And she's joining me right now. Hello, Rachel.
Hi, how are you, Kenny?
I'm good, and I want to apologize if you was calling in. I forgot to open up my Skype.
Oh, okay.
So if you got the voicemail, whatever, then you know why, at least.
Okay.
So I'm joined with Miss Rachel,
Mm-hmm.
aka Pandora.
That's right.
Talk a little bit about yourself and how did your wrestling career got started?
I started out wrestling in England at the age of 14, and I trained at the UK Hemlock School of Wrestling, and started touring in Europe and the UK at that age, and then came over to the US for the first time at the age of 17. And I've pretty much just been on the go ever since, getting to go around Europe and Canada and the US, Hong Kong, all over the place. And pretty much this is how I live my life. I'm a professional wrestler and promoter, and so is my husband, and so is my father-in-law. And we're basically just a happy wrestling family.
I just want to point out, I love women with the British accents, and you have the British accent right now, so I give you high credit for that. I love women with British accents. Uh,
Well, thank you very much.
and number two, I heard of you a lot more because you was on a website called Slamming Ladies, which is a custom wrestling website. Talk a little bit about that and how's it feel to be a part of that custom wrestling when fans get to book matches, they get to determine who faces who. Talk about that experience during Slamming Ladies.
Right. Well, I've worked for a few custom companies, but Slam and Ladies is the one that I work for most regularly. And it's really a big happy family down there in Tampa. Lexi Fife takes really good care of us girls. And it's just a wonderful experience to go down and work for her. The custom aspect, it's really interesting. I think it's good for fans that really want to be a part of wrestling. Most fans do want to be involved in some kind of interactive way, and customs is one way for them to get involved in that. It's a lot of fun. We have a great time, and it's basically something that when it's done right and respect is shown to the lady wrestlers, and it's about wrestling, then we're all the more happy to do it.
All right. So, do you have any upcoming matches?
I have got matches this week. I'm going to be wrestling in Nashville at my home company, the USWO, on Friday night. Also, I have matches coming up at Tennessee All Pro in Spencer, Tennessee, against Mary Kelly. Matches for USA Championship Wrestling throughout the month of April, and also a big ladies show for Global Ladies Wrestling in Tupelo, Mississippi on April 28th. I can't recall dates off the top of my head, but I'm pretty busy all the time. And when I'm not wrestling myself, I'm organizing shows for the PGWA and the USWO.
Now, wait, show. Who are your favorite wrestlers growing up?
Um, a wide variety. I would say that Leilani Kai was one of my favorite lady wrestlers, as well as Sensational Sherry, Luna Vachon. They were really my favorite lady wrestlers. Guys, The Undertaker, I enjoyed the gimmick aspect, and as I grew older, I enjoyed that he kind of shook off his gimmick a little bit and started actually really going for it in wrestling as he got older, which amused me greatly. Also, just different athletes, different wrestlers, different styles. I can pretty much watch any kind of wrestling match and enjoy it as long as there's, a real aspect of psychology. I can't really watch the super high flying, super quick matches. They blind me a little bit with their science, I think.
Yeah, 'cause they'd be all over the place. Whee!
Yeah, and I get terrified for them. I'm so scared that someone's going to get hurt that I can barely watch it. I watch it like out the corner of my eye because I'm so terrified for everybody's safety.
Well, I can understand considering it's like they're going 150 miles per hour. It's just so fast paced. You lose track of what
So
moves just.
athletic. I mean, really just incredibly gifted athletically. And I don't knock their talent or their ability at all. It's just not something that floats my boat. I can't keep up with it to watch it, and it just terrifies me for their safety. But obviously, everybody has their own thing that they like, and I completely support their athleticism and their abilities 110%.
Understandable. I got a question in the chat room from my friend Andrew Browningmaster. Of course, we are here at WrestleMania week, and people are rooting for certain people heading into the big show. And Andrew wants to know, who are you rooting for at WrestleMania this Sunday night, Rock or John Cena? That's his question.
I don't know. I don't even think about stuff like that, to be honest. Um, I think that they're both great entertainers, and that's what they're paid to do. I think that The Rock will probably come out on top, but you never know. And I just hope that it will be an entertaining match more than anything. I'm never really too concerned with wins and loss.
Right. I think a lot of people gonna pull for The Rock considering it's in his hometown
Right?
of Miami, Florida. I know a lot of people hoping that John Cena, for the love of God, turn heel. I mean, that remains to be seen. Hey, I'm a Cena
Right?
fan, and I'm all for if Cena's gonna make it happen, but that's Vince's call. So we shall see. Um,
Right.
who, Let me ask you this: what do you consider as the highlight of your wrestling career?
Um, the highlight is not really what I would consider one specific moment. Um, I've been very blessed to travel, and really consider that my highlight. seeing the world has really been a wonderful thing for me, and something that I would recommend everybody do. Travel as much as you can and see as much of the world as you can. A lot of people don't get the opportunity to do it, and I'm really grateful that through wrestling I've been able to do that.
Is there any wrestlers out there, male and female, that you want to be the ring with or against that you haven't worked with yet? Is there anyone particular, male or female?
Um, well, let me think. I would love to wrestle Blue Nikita from Greece. She lives in Germany. She's a tremendous wrestler. Um, Probably, one of the best in the world, if not just Europe. Sweet Saraya, or Saraya Knight, depending on if you're a Shimmer fan. Uh, she's just wonderful, wonderful woman, wonderful wrestler, and I consider it a pleasure to know her. And also, which I think almost every female wrestler would say this, but Manami Toyota, for sure. Really just one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, let alone female.
All right. Again, I'm joined with Miss Rachel, indie pro wrestler, right here on Triple Threat Wrestling Radio. Let me ask you this, Rachel. What would your advice be to anyone out there that wants to pursue their career as a wrestler? What would your advice be?
Um, I would say make sure you have an education behind you, for sure, because things can go wrong in a moment, and if you haven't got anything behind you, you're really screwed. Also, I would say be 100% sure that you really want to apply yourself 110%, because you get out what you put in. And if you're not 100% committed and you're not ready to pay dues and work hard and listen, you just won't get back anything good. You might get some sort of short-term success, but in the long term, it's just not going to happen for you, and it's a waste of time if you don't work hard at it.
Absolutely. And one more question. How can people learn more from you, promote your links, Facebook, Twitter, any other links you have out there?
Well, I'm on Facebook as Miss Rachel Wrestler. You can usually find out what I'm up to on there. Also, I do post on the Glory message board here and there. And if you want to download matches, you can go to ladysports.com for PGWA matches, or you can go to slamandladies.com for their matches also. And you can find a wide variety on both websites for me.
You can catch her on Facebook, Miss Rachel, as one name, and Wrestler, the last name, on Facebook.
That's right.
Ladysports.com. You can also download matches on slammingladies.com. And you also got matches over at MLW.com, MLWonline.com, excuse me. Check that out. Rachel.
And ringgoddess.com as well.
Ringgoddess.
I believe.
Yeah, definitely. Helena Heavenly's website as well. I'm going to go ahead and let you go, Rachel. Thank you so much for your time. Best of success goes out to you. And great talking to you. You're welcome to be back on the show anytime. And you have a good night.
Well, I appreciate that, Kenny. Thank you very much.
All right, bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
That was Miss Rachel, a.k.a. Pandora, joining me. Second guest is calling in Austin Lane. Let me go ahead and add him to the conference. My second guest at this time, Austin Lane, joining me right now. Hey, Austin, what's going on?
How you doing, Kenny? You doing all right?
Yes, sir, I am, and thank you for calling in this evening.
No problem. No problem whatsoever.
And I'm not sure if you got my tweet earlier this afternoon, but Nikki was invited to call in if she wanted to. Not sure.
Yeah, she's actually at the gym right now, but she said that she would probably hit it up next time.
All right. Okay, that would be cool. We'll talk more that email wise and Twitter wise. But now that you are here, Austin, um, why don't you go ahead, tell the listeners a little bit about yourself and how did your wrestling career got started?
Well, let's see. I've been wrestling for a little over 13 years now. Got started in a little small town in Arkansas, actually named Dixie, Arkansas, believe it or not. But got started there. Was trained by a couple guys, local guys, Chico Murdoch and Jay Murdoch, and then got polished up by, after wrestling for a little while, got polished up by Rodney Mack from WWE, Jazz, his wife, and Jerry Lynn, who's actually became a really close personal friend of mine. Got polished up by them and traveling the world, living the dream kind of deal.
You mentioned Jerry Lynn, Rodney Mack, and Jazz. You trained with them, you worked with them. What was it like working with all three of them in particular?
Well, believe it or not, all three of them are some of the nicest people you'll ever meet. Rodney and Jazz worked with me a lot and trained me on the shoot style and how to what the old guys called hooking wrestling. But they trained me as far as how to the shoot ways, the right ways to apply and reverse holds, and nicest people in the world. Love took and helped watch the kids a couple times. I mean, nicest people in the world. Jerry, I met Jerry right outside of Chicago. I did a show. I was brought in a show right outside of Chicago, and brought me in to work Jerry. And we hit it off right off. I mean, right off the bat, And then he's kind of worked with me and polished me up a little bit, and we became really close. Anytime he's around the area, he usually has to work me because he knows it's almost like a night off. But we usually stay. He usually stays at the house after the shows, and we'll drink a little bit and play some Guitar Hero, and just have some fun. And I'm actually talked to him earlier today, and me and him are tagging up with each other. I believe it's the first time we've ever tagged. We've probably wrestled each other, good God, probably 20 times, 30 times, 40 times. I mean, it's been a lot to a point where we don't even have to call anything. We just kind of, he shows up, and you'll ask, so, I'm working Austin. Yeah. Well, it's midnight off, and we'll just kind of look at each other and say, we'll just call it out there. Let's just have some fun. Let's go out there and call it out there. But he's me and him are tagging up here. I think it's in June the 23rd in Paragould, Arkansas for RWA Wrestling. We'll be tagging up there against a guy that I trained, Seth Saber, real good kid, and then a guy that I tagged with and wrestled 100 times and won a couple of Match of the Year awards with, Justin G. Smart. So it should be a really good match.
Now, Austin, I want to talk a little bit about you being a part of MLW, which, for those that don't know, is a custom wrestling website, mostly a woman wrestling website. And fans get to book matches on who faces who, and you, among a couple of other male wrestlers, are going to be a part of the MLW tapings, which I believe is coming up a week from this Saturday. And Nikki Lane is also going to be there. She's obviously
Yeah.
one half of the MLW Tag Team Champions. Um, what's it like to be a part of mostly a female wrestling website like MLW? What's your take on that?
Well, to me, it's an honor to even to be a part of it because the girls there, I mean, can wrestle their butts off. I mean, this is one of those where it's not just Barbie dolls that don't really have any business being in the ring, or they're only there because they're wanting a paycheck or something. I mean, these girls in that ring can go. I mean, there's girls there like Nikki and Mischief, who's an awesome, phenomenal wrestler. Sarah Del Rey wrestles there. Barbie Hayden. she's retired now, but the Roxy and Veronica Fairchild, girls that go out there and can really tear it up, and they're really good at what they do. They're very professional. I mean, it's a very professional company. There's no girls don't have to go there and have to worry about being hit on by a bunch of guys and lewd sexual comments. I mean, the girls there can, like Destiny and girls like that. They can go there and really show what they can do. I mean, they show their craft, and for me, it's an honor just to be able to be in the same ring with a lot of those girls, because they're girls who are really learning and want to learn and want to to be the best inside that ring. And that's one thing I've always been fortunate enough to be a part of, is having those girls that really bust their butt in that ring, and they're great girls. I mean, 90% of them are like family to me. I mean, I love them to death and do anything for them. And for me, it's kind of odd at times, when you show up and when you're either the only guy or one of only two or three guys that booked on it. We have our place in it, and our place is. I mean, it's almost like we're I guess we're just a side dish. I mean, the main course is the girls. The girls they're the money makers. They're the ones that the guys are wanting to book. The girls are the main focus of the company, and which is a very good thing. I mean, it's something different. It's where necessarily like a WWE. The main focus may be on guys like John Cena and CM Punk and Chris Jericho, and the girls are kind of just an added attraction. Where it's kind of needed to be in the role reverse, where the guys are kind of the added attraction, or add a little extra flavor to it, while the girls are the main focus of the show.
And as far as WWE is concerned, with the whole woman not giving them airtime or not enough anyway, they just there. They just put on the side and just here's 2-3 minutes, make the most of it. Well, the guys, they get as much airtime as they want, but I guess that's the fault of WWE trying to rely on models trying to become wrestlers. I mean, it worked with
Absolutely.
it worked.
I mean, I'm not going to be. I've worked for WWE before. And I know a lot of the guys and girls there, and I'm not going to say that that there's not a female in that locker room that's going to sell out Sun Life Stadium, not like The Rock and Cena will. I mean, I do understand that for the mass audience, that the majority of it, the draw, the money is going to be with the guys. However, there should be more focus. I think there's more of a draw for the girls than what they're allowing. The girls, they're saying, okay, we're going to get this X demographic with the females. That's what we'll give them. We'll just make sure we get them seen. Give them a little bit of airtime here or there. I think there's more of a draw than what they're what they're being given. I know that The Rock and Cena are going, and Triple H and Taker and Shawn Michaels and Dolph Ziggler and guys like that. They're going to be the ones who people are tuning in to see. These storylines has built around it. But the girls, they're one of the biggest. I guess one of the biggest trends that WWE had over the past several months was Karma, the return of Karma. I mean, I think that, and once she's completely able to get back in the ring full time again, I think that, and you could already tell, because see with Hunter and the way you can tell a lot of more focus on the tag team wrestling, a lot more focus on developing characters for the females, like the Eve heel character. I mean, there's actually been a lot of airtime and a lot of time put in to get her to where she's at right now, which is in a very good spot. At the same time, the past few months, you could see Beth Phoenix being booked as the dominant female for one reason, for Karma to come back. And that plans might have been on hold a little bit for that, but so you could tell that that's where they're leading to it. And I think when Karma and Beth Phoenix finally do square off, it's going to be a big thing, a lot bigger than what they even would have projected. And I think they'll get plenty of time too to develop that.
As a supporter for women's wrestling, I can honestly hope so. I mean, once Karma comes back and Beth Phoenix still has the Divas title, I mean, that's what a lot of people are hoping for. I mean, a lot of
Yeah,
people,
you can see it come. You can see it developing. You can see, the Beth Phoenix. They were talking about who could actually beat her. How
yeah,
dominant she was and everything else. I hate that. Karma couldn't do it at the grandest stage. At
right.
WrestleMania. But that's once again they fall back on the celebrity to help draw interest into that match. I think that if Karma was ready, I think Karma and Beth Phoenix one on one at Mania would have been awesome.
And I love Maria Marunos. Don't get me wrong. I mean, she's a
Yeah.
beautiful woman, but she got the Dancing with the Stars, and now she's got the broken ribs, and now she's got to go out there and
Mhm.
just pretty much do nothing while Kelly got to do all the work. I mean, I don't expect much of
Mhm.
Kelly neither, but it's
Yeah,
I,
but Kelly is one of those. I mean, she's actually starting to develop. I mean, the couple matches she had with Beth Phoenix, I believe it was around maybe SummerSlam of last year.
yeah,
I
last
mean,
year.
that was actually really entertaining. I mean, she really is. She's not a wrestler. She's getting better. She's one of those where she's not a Beth Phoenix or a Karma or a Natalie Neidhart or a Jazz, but she's coming along. I mean, I think that within a few years, I think she'll be entertainment wise, I think she'll be up there around, the same level as Trish was.
Well, that's what WWE is obviously hoping for. With the whole model into wrestling. Um, but other than that, you said you worked for the WWE. Did you work for them as a developmental wise, or were you in the main roster?
No, I was just extra. I worked some Raw and SmackDown as extra talent. I worked for TNA when they were in Nashville, when they were still doing the weekly pay-per-views in Nashville, and then I worked uh, as extra talent for WWE.
Again, I'm joined with Austin Lane right here on Triple Threat Wrestling Radio. Um, you getting a lot of high praise from one of the listeners. Smooth gentleman, preach, preach. Woman wrestling sales, ask TNA. When you work with Beth, you look good. Um, let me ask you this: do you have any other matches? Anything else you have coming up?
Yeah, I've got let's see, I believe in June I'll be tagging with. I'm just picking off the top of my head. There's a benefit show. Got a couple weeks. Will be over in I think it's New Bern, Tennessee. It should be a really good show. Coming back tagging with Jerry Lynn in June. September I will be working with Billy Gunn in Arkansas. See, and then in December I'm finishing off a big blow off angle with Justin Smart inside a steel cage in Arkansas. But that's what I got coming up.
All right, definitely be on the lookout for that. And of course, Austin's going to be at the MLW tapings on April 7th. Um, Let me ask you this: what's your thoughts on indie wrestling in general, as far as the whole process? You're going in there, you're not surrounded by big crowds, but very passionate fans nonetheless. What's your take on being in indie shows, and performing for the fans out there?
I think indie shows actually offer an alternative to what they're to a lot of the as far as television. I've booked television and I've formatted TV before and done tons of television and pay-per-views, especially internet pay-per-views. Uh, I think the indie wrestling as a whole it's a good I say it's a good ground to get you ready. I mean, guys, if you don't believe that indie wrestling can get you anywhere, ask CM Punk and Daniel Bryan, because they're on top of the world right now, and those are guys who made a living in the indies. Guys like Colt Cabana has got a cult following. Unbelievable talents. And indie wrestling, there's a lot of times here, especially nowadays. A lot of times you'll get guys who weigh 130 pounds or 350. That those guys, they're doing it for the love because they know there's not going to be, a big future, unless they hit the gym and tan. And then you'll also see the same guys, in the indie circuit, like guys like Chase Owens and myself and Justin Smart, Dustin Starr, Derek King, guys who are busting their butt week after week. And what you don't realize, especially for fans, if you're listening, and you may look at indie wrestling and think, oh, why go to that? That's just backyard wrestling, and save your money, just go to WWE. There's a big difference between backyard wrestling and indie wrestling. And indie wrestling, I'm telling you right now, those WrestleMania moments that you may spend $2,000 for a seat are happening in small towns all over the United States every single weekend. You're seeing guys go out there and tear the house down and tell stories in that ring. And if you're a fan, make sure you go out and go to an independent wrestling show. Support independent wrestling because those guys are going out there and putting their life on the line every week for pay that's nowhere near what guys are making in WWE or TNA and Ring of Honor. And they're busting their butts and they're putting on awesome, unbelievable moments that you'll remember for the rest of your life. And it's happening every weekend in VFWs and bingo halls and high school gyms and in National Guard armories all over the country. Just go out and make sure you go out and see one.
Of course, you can follow Austin Lane on Twitter at Austin Lane 1, as in the number 1. Again, he's joining me right now on Triple Threat Wrestling Radio. Now, of course, we are in the middle of WrestleMania week, and you mentioned Punk and Bryan. Both will be at WrestleMania this Sunday. Are you looking forward to it? Are you going to be watching WrestleMania? And if so, what are the matches you're looking forward to?
Well, first off, absolutely. I'm going to watch WrestleMania. I think that any fan of wrestling, wants to see that we watch it for those WrestleMania moments, for those moments, and for the grandeur of the whole thing. I mean, it's the Super Bowl of professional wrestling, no matter what company you work for. What matches am I looking forward to? No, there's several I'm looking forward to. One, I think Sheamus and Daniel Bryan are going to go out there and tear the house down for the simple fact that last year they were left off the main card. They were put in a very quick match beginning before the show started during the preview part, and ended up turning into a lumberjack, into a battle royal type thing. I think those guys are going to go out there to prove a point. Sheamus, unbelievable worker, really works his butt off. He's in the ring constantly working out, learning from guys like Triple H and everyone. I mean, and Daniel Bryan, he's a professional, one of the best, if not the best in the world. I'm looking forward to, of course, Jericho and Punk. Jericho and Punk is probably going to be one of the, if not the best pure wrestling match at a WrestleMania. I mean, that right there, I'm excited to, I hate, you're not supposed to say his name, but, it reminds me of, the way, the feel to it reminds me of, the Royal Rumble with Angle and Benoit. I mean, the pure wrestling part of it's going to be, I mean, that right there is probably going to be a show stealer. And then, of course, I'm looking forward to the Hell in a Cell for the simple fact of the storytelling, because what Taker lacks in physical ability nowadays, the man is just, as far as psychology and getting into people's head and telling a story, the man is, him and Triple H and Shawn are storytellers. I mean, they know how to really draw you into the match, and I think it's going to be one that it's going to surprise a lot of people about how good the match actually is.
All those matches are definitely going to be the ones to watch. I think Daniel Bryan and Sheamus, especially, because they want to show WWE that they were wrong for leaving them on the telecast. And then you got
Absolutely.
Punk. And then you got Punk and Jericho. Jericho has had his share of great matches in WrestleMania in his career, and I believe that's going to be the top match of the night. And then you
Yeah,
have
I think that one's going to be the match killer. I mean, Jericho is another one. He was, he watched Michaels growing up, and you can see almost the mirror image of him and Shawn Michaels. I mean, the matches that Michaels have had at WrestleMania, the Taker matches, the Iron Man, the match with Flair, the match with Angle. I mean, awesome matches, every one of them. And Jericho the same. Jericho, what this year with Punk, what he did with Steamboat was just magical. The year they did the 3-on-1, the match with Shawn Michaels. I mean, each and every one of them was amazing.
and also Triple H and Undertaker, which could very well be the last hooah, the swan song for them both. Now, I don't think Cena and Rock is going to be anywhere near HBK and Undertaker, but it's going to be interesting because two men, two
Yeah,
different generations. I mean, it's like a dream match come true, obviously, and that's what WWE does. I mean,
absolutely.
they did it with
That
Rock.
one's got to feel like Rock and Hogan. I mean, Rock and Hogan wasn't at WrestleMania was not the match of the night, but it was the most memorable match of that WrestleMania because of the fact, just the nostalgia to it. I mean, the epic confrontation between two generations. I mean, that's what's happening again. Like Rock said, they're building up the biggest match of all time. May not be the greatest wrestling match of all time, but the biggest match of all time is probably it probably will.
Oh man, I'm already looking forward to it, regardless, and it's 4 hours long. I mean, what else to do on a Sunday night? I mean, normally it's 3 hours. Now it's 4 hours, at least for this particular night. Um, if you can have a dream match, I mean, why are we speaking dream matches and fantasy matches? But to you, Austin, in particular, if you're gonna have a dream match against anyone, male, female, dead or alive, past, present, what would your dream match be?
Hmm. That's a good one. I've wrestled a lot of the like growing up. I was a huge Flair and Sting fan, and then as far as tag team wrestling, the Steiners and the Road Warriors, and I've actually got to wrestle the Steiners in a tag match. I've wrestled Kevin Nash, AJ Styles. I think for me, my dream matches would probably be either against Flair, the Nature Boy Ric Flair, or Kurt Angle. I think Kurt Angle and myself, we have a mutual friend, Harvey Whippleman, downtown Bruno, who currently works for WWE. Friend of both of ours, but and he even said that he works for WWE and he would personally buy a ticket to see that match. I've had a lot of comparisons as far as my work rate, and how I work to like Daniel Bryan and a CM Punk. I can have anybody's style match. I can go out there and wrestle anyone's style match and make them look good. I'm a technical wrestler. I'm a storyteller, but I think that Kurt Angle would be the person who would probably we would probably tear the house down. It would be one of those where could rival a Punk Jericho because I don't know if you've seen much of my wrestling work. If you haven't, you should check it out because I'm one of those that goes out and gives it 100% every single time, and goes out there and tells a story. But I think Angle would be my best, would be my dream wrestling match, and then my dream match, just the fact of just being in the same ring with him, would be Flair or Steamboat during their prime.
Oh yeah, Flair and Steamboat. They had a great match back in their days. I
Oh,
almost
they
got.
had great matches.
Uh, I must have them. I think I
Constantly,
have
several
them.
of them over.
I think I have Flair mistaken for Savage because Savage and Steamboat, that was a memorable match in WrestleMania
Oh
history.
yeah,
So yeah,
WrestleMania 3.
yeah. So I have that mistaken. That's
Yep.
my fault. Um,
Yeah, growing up, my favorite baby face, the best baby face that I've seen, and probably the best baby face, the two best baby faces I've ever seen in the ring growing up was Steamboat and Ricky Morton, which I worked with Ricky Morton this past weekend. But they were the best baby faces. Ricky Morton, the way he sold and and really got a heel over, and got the hatred, that heat or that heel, and then Steamboat would go out there and just tear the house down with anyone.
Again, I'm joined with Austin Lane right here on Triple Threat Wrestling Radio. Again, you can follow him on Twitter at Austin Lane 1. AUSTINLANE 1, as in the number one. He's got some matches coming up. He's got MLW. He's got a lot of stuff going on. And again, I want to thank you for your time, Austin. Good talking to you. And I'll
No
definitely
problem
will.
whatsoever.
And I'll definitely will set up an interview with Nikki, most likely next week. I think I have a spot or two left for next week's show, so
All right.
we can definitely set
No
that up.
problem whatsoever.
All right, thank you for your time,
Yeah,
Austin.
no problem whatsoever.
And
Thank you so much. It was an honor to be on here. Make sure everybody go out and follow me. I'll tweet inspirational stuff. I tweet comments about wrestling, and I do some funny stuff too. So don't take it too seriously.
Hey, I read your tweets, man. You're good. You're good, man. Thank
I
you.
appreciate it.
Thank you for
Yeah,
your time.
thank you so much for having me on Triple Threat Radio.
Triple Threat Wrestling Radio. You have a good night.
You have a good night too, sir.
All right. That was Austin Lane from Arkansas, Bill Clinton County. Good talking to Austin, man. He's a good guy. My third interview is coming up. And by the end of the next 10, 15 minutes, the last 10, 15 minutes, I should say, I'm going to make my WrestleMania predictions of who's going to win. I'm saving that for the last 10, 15 minutes. So, y'all keep an eye on that. While I wait for the third guest to call in, please check out Smooth Gentleman's show. He's in the chat room with me. Court of Champions. Wednesdays, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. Check him out, Smooth Gentleman. He's the host of the show. I was on the show earlier this afternoon, and it was good talking to him. It was actually the first time I talked to Smooth ever. In all the years we know each other for NowLife.com. We never talked to each other. We have never talked to each other until a couple of hours ago. So it was good talking to Smooth. Now, I have smooth aspects, but he's smooth. He's smooth all the way around, man. I have aspects of being smooth, but I'm not as smooth as he is. He's a wrestling fan, and he can just talk, just make things all smooth, man. I could definitely see you being a commentator, Smooth Gentleman. Like, alongside with so-and-so, I'm with Smooth Gentleman. You would make a great wrestling announcer, or the commentator for that matter. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I have Travis Hayes, and I have a Schmoopy Bumble. Sits on his throne. You go ahead and sit on your throne, man. Travis Hayes joining me, and we have a Bumble joining me. If you don't like the name Bumble, just click on your name and change your name to whatever. My third guest is calling in right now. Let me go ahead and add her to the conference. Her name is Nicole, and she's joining me right now. Hello.
Hello.
Is this Nicole?
No, this is Rico Vega.
Oh, Rico, how you doing?
Yeah. What's up, brother?
Good. I thought I had you scheduled to call in at 9:30.
I did, man. I'm a little bit early.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, I guess I'll talk to you then, since you are here. Of course, I'm joined with Rico Verga, right here on Triple Threat.
Vega, man.
Vega. Rico Vega.
Rico Vega, man.
Yeah, there you go. He's joining me right here on Triple Threat Wrestling Radio. Now, of course, you first heard of this show through Michelle Myers from KZW,
Yes.
and here you are on the show. Um, why don't you go ahead, tell the listeners a little bit about yourself and how did your wrestling career got started?
Well, my wrestling career really got started when I was a young kid, man. My brother was Billy Travis out of Tennessee. Worked with Jerry Lawler a long time. He really got me started when I was a kid. And when I come on up into the business a little bit, I was in with Dale Mann, Vic the Bruiser, all them guys from in here in Kentucky. Guys that are really hardcore in this business. You're old school guys.
So you are obviously you working for KZW out here in Kentucky, correct?
Yes, sir.
Talk a little bit about KZW. I know I live in Kentucky, obviously, and I know Ohio Valley Wrestling. I know UWF in Georgetown. I know some other companies, and I first heard of KZW through Michelle, and now through you. Uh, Talk a little bit about KZW.
Well, KTW is an up and coming independent wrestling show here in Kentucky. We run a lot of shows. They really respect their workers. They are going good right now. We have really good shows, really family good shows, and here in the state of Kentucky and in the Somerset area. We are doing a lot of things for kids, and that's the most thing that out here in this wrestling organization that they need to look forward to is for the kids.
All right, and if you are in the Somerset, Kentucky area, you go check them out. I think your website for KZW is www.newkzw.com for more info. And for what I hear, KZW is going to be doing shows in Danville, Kentucky, which is right an hour removed from Louisville. How do you feel about the KZW doing shows in Danville?
Oh, Danville's a really hot spot right now. We're just now doing our first show there. We're going to have a lot of people there. Legendary Larry D is going to be on the show. Johnny Bad, Chief Tomahawk, myself. We're going to come rock the show out, and we're really going to bring some good talent to Danville finally.
Is there any other wrestling organizations you work for other than KZW, or is KZW your main thing right now?
Well, right now I do bookings for other people, but as a respect for KCW, I'm not going to call them people out because KCW is my main promotion that I work for. So right now, KCW is my main concern.
That's fair. That's good. Um, who do you consider as influences in your career?
Well, brother, like I said, I grew up old school. Growing up in Lexington, Kentucky, Randy Savage and all the Poppos. I followed them for years. I mean, they worked at the Owner Henry Clay Center here in Lexington. I followed them like I was a little kid. Randy Savage and Billy Travis, like I said, my god brother, all them guys and that old school business is what I always looked up to.
Now, obviously, you rep the old school. That's your thing.
Oh,
And what's your thoughts? How do you feel about today's wrestling compared to back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s? I mean, what's your take on today's wrestling compared to old school?
well, today's wrestling, it's more a sportsmanship. You know what I'm saying? If you're If you're athletic in today's business, you get on bigger shows. I mean, if you're an old school guy, you know how to work in the ring, you know how to work a crowd, you know how to, what do you say, put your gimmicks over. You are over in independent wrestling. Now, if your dad or whoever you have trained you, then you're in the bigger leagues right now. And that's how I feel because coming from old school, you work and you pay your dues. You don't get nothing for free.
I definitely would agree with you on some parts as far as it seems like when if you're the father of someone or the daughter of someone, some people get in easily. You know, they don't they compared to back in the 80s and the 90s. You know, it's as far as in the 80s and 90s, you had to earn your spot. But it seems like nowadays, for a lot of wrestlers, it's like they get an easy ride. They don't pay their dues. They don't work their way up.
Yes, sir. I agree with you with that. Because, I mean, in the old school days, you went into this business, you got trained, you put rings up, you were a ring crew, you were also security, you were also a worker, you were also somebody who took everything down. You paid your dues. You did not get nothing handed to you. I was trained, and before I even stepped foot in the ring, I did this for over 2 years.
Well said, man. Again, I'm John with Rico Vega here on Triple Threat Western Radio on this Wednesday night. Um, Let me ask you this, Rico. If you can have, if you can team up with anybody, or better yet, if you can, well, forget what I just said. Let me ask you this: what would your advice be to anyone out there? If what would your advice be to anyone that wants to get into the wrestling business? What would your advice be?
My advice would be you pick your trainer, you pick a person that you trust in this business to show you how to do it, the right way to do it, and to make sure that you keep yourself safe.
And I definitely would say this, and I'm not a wrestler, I'm just a wrestling fan, but I can honestly say, as far as wrestlers is concerned, you gotta be patient. You gotta wait for your time. You gotta wait for your opportunity. I feel like a lot of wrestlers are just so eager to get out there and do matches right away, and they ended up getting rushed into the spotlight too soon, and they struggle. So I'd say the main thing is wrestlers, especially up and comers, they have to be patient. They have to, learn the fundamentals. They have to, like you say, like a lot of wrestlers would say, pay your dues. Um, so I say, patience is definitely very important if you want to pursue your career as a wrestler, or if you want to pursue your career anyway. You gotta have patience.
Yes, I totally agree with you there. But, brother, you have to realize in this business, if you don't have patience, you can very well get very, very badly hurt. If you don't know how to take your bumps, if you don't know how to do the stuff off the top rope, if you don't know how to just do any move, a guy can hurt you very bad in this business.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't trust the person you're in the ring with, you might as well not be in the ring anymore in this business.
Well put, man. Why don't you go ahead and tell the people how they can get in touch with you, learn more from you. You have a Facebook, Twitter, anything else you want to promote?
Well, I have a Facebook account. It's Rico Vega 12 at yahoo.com. You can email me. You can get in touch with KCW through our website. You can pretty much get on the internet, go through Mayhem, which is our weekly web show. We run it every Sunday night, uh, which is a very looked at show. I went on there just the other night. We have people from Pennsylvania. We have people from Florida. We have people from all across the country that's looking at this Mayhem show. Go on there and look at the KCW Total Mayhem, and you'll see all the talent that KCW has.
Newkzw.com. Check them out.
.com, yes.
And check out their Facebook fan page. And if you are in the Kentucky area, go check them out. Summer West, they're going to be at Danville. Check them out. I do plan on attending the KCW show in Danville in a couple of weeks. So I'm looking forward to seeing you and Michelle and the rest of the talent. It's going to be my first time attending the KCW show, so I'm looking forward to April 12th, I believe. That is a Friday, so I will be there. I'm going to go ahead and let you go, Rico. Thank you for your time. Thank you for calling in. Best of success goes out to you, man.
Appreciate your time, Kenny, man. I appreciate everything you do for the independent wrestling, and you have a great show, man.
Thank you, man. You have a good night.
You too.
All right, bye-bye. That was KZW's Rico Vega right here on Triple Threat Wrestling Radio. And Smooth Gentleman and Travis talking about Garrett Bischoff, who happens to be the son of one Eric Bischoff. I wonder what Garrett's life was like growing up, knowing that Eric and what he's done. I wonder how he had to deal going to schools or go to college and have to deal with the ridicule that he gotten. Like, hey man, it's the son of Eric Bischoff. Normally, if you're the son of someone that's established and respectful, they give you high praise. They say, you know, I'm a fan of your father or your daughter and your mother, but Eric Bischoff, not so much. Like you're the son of a guy who pretty much played a role of putting WCW out of a job, out of business, I should say. To this day, people still want to blame Eric Bischoff of pretty much putting WCW out of business. We can debate that all day, all night long, and I just don't have the time for that. You know, it can go either way. You know, it's not just obviously when you're part of a business, obviously someone's got to take the blame. But since Eric Bischoff is so popular, he's going to take the blame. He's going to be the perpetrator. Some reason I like saying that word, perpetrator. There you go. He was the perpetrator. Now, obviously, I got 30 more minutes left, and I've already discussed TNA, and a little bit later in the hour, half an hour, the last 10-15 minutes, I will make my WrestleMania predictions. If you're in the chat room, feel free to make your predictions as well. We'll talk about that. I guess I'm pretty much done with interviews for the night, so I had 3 of them. Thank you to Miss Rachel, Austin Lane, and Rico Vega for calling in. And thank you to Travis, who's in here for being here. If he takes the credit for his success, then he should share the blame for its failures. Totally agree, Travis. Totally agree. It's like being a quarterback. They get too much credit for team success, and they get all the blame for the losses. So, you know, I definitely see your point. as far as Eric is concerned. Boy, it would suck to be Garrett. The ridicule that kid gets, man. Um, Now you got Ohio Valley Wrestling, right? The developmental territory. Exact, and they've been in the territory for a couple of months now. Now, me being living in Kentucky, I have attended a couple of their shows. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of excitement. I love OVW. I also like the fact that my sister's talking in the background and y'all can hear them talk right now, but that's besides the point. You got Shiloh Jones and Johnny Spade. They are a tag team. OMG. They're going to be facing each other at the Saturday Night Special on Saturday. Uh, I think people want to see another Spade and Olivencia match, especially following the Derby Park Expo. I've heard a lot about it. Now, it was a non-televised show. It was on Sunday, the same Sunday as Victory Road pay-per-view, and for what I've heard, it was great. People calling it match of the year for OVW. I honestly want to see Spade and Olivencia for the OVW title. Um, and I seen and I would say that. I honestly want to see Spade and Olivencia go at it. And OVW, they've been putting the women's division to the back burner for quite a while. Up until last week when Taylor Hendricks faced the Great Cheyenne. Um, I like Shiloh Jones. I think he's good. I like Shiloh Jones. He's good, but I just prefer Spade and Olivencia. I just do. I really do. Now the women's division has been put to the back burner. Obviously, if you've been watching the last couple of months or two, I mean, you have Taylor Hendricks, you have the Blossom Twins. They're overseas right now. They are up there in across the pond. Terrence Shea has been released. Epiphany's taking some time off. Solo Dolan's no longer there. Who else do you have to compete against Taylor Hendricks? So I guess that may play a role as in why the women's division hasn't been getting a lot of, push, haven't been on the TV tapings as much. Um, Jeff would probably be like, huh, what is OVW? Jeff is mostly a WWE fan. He watches TNA, but he's not into it that much. I would thought Jeff would be into it, considering you got wrestlers that's just as old as he is. But he's not that much of a fan. He's a WWE guy. I have interviewed Taylor Hendricks, and she's very nice. She's a very nice person. She's sweet. She's very talented. Okay, One Girl Revolution. She's great. She's totally great. I got a lot of respect for Taylor. And I heard the Muscagny interview on the Court of Champions, and he didn't held back on certain people. You gotta listen to the podcast of Court of Champions. He did not hold back on how he feels on certain people. He even dropped the F-bomb on OVW. And the thing is, I've been on and off watching OVW. I didn't even know Muscagny Smooth Gentleman says he's going to turn Taylor into a bad girl. She's too nice to be a bad girl. Unless, she's a heel, of course. She's just so nice and sweet. She's got that American sweetheart feel to it. She's Will. I mean, there were parts of Muscatney interview that I had to say, "Oh no, he didn't." Muscatney, he was hilarious. He was hilarious. Uh, he was like, "Well, this is my show," you know. He was he was hilarious. Let's put it that way. He was super hilarious, and I think it's very funny how the announcers, the weatherman, Gibber Corsi, or Dean Hill, be referring to him as the Made Man Muscatney. And then you got my fellow Kenny, as in Kenny Bolin, refer to him as the Miracle Man Muscatney. I mean, Muscatney, he know how to work the crowd. I tell you, he's as very he he is good. Now I gotta go ahead and get to some WWE stuff, and I used an analogy. Storage secretary for the night. Uh-oh. That's very unsmooth. That ain't right. um WWE, let me use this analogy on World Wrestling Entertainment. They remind me of that family member that you can't stand, that gets on your nerves, but yet you love them regardless. They're like that family member. They just do things that just makes you irritated, that makes you want to scratch your head a little bit. They do things that just makes you wonder, why am I feeling with this person? They remind you of that little cousin that be all over the place and do certain things that just drives you crazy, but you love them regardless. That's what I feel about World Wrestling Entertainment. I take the good with the bad. I take the good with the bad. As far as World Entertainment ages, World Wrestling Entertainment. Uh, I'm sure everybody in the chat room got that family member that gets on your nerves, that do things that drive you insane, that makes you want to just, I don't want to be near this person. Or maybe they remind you of an ex-girlfriend that you hate, but yet you can't get enough of. Or ex-boyfriend or ex-girlfriend. Allow me to use that analogy. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and recap some WWE, and then come 9:50, I will make my WrestleMania predictions. Now, of course, no, I'm not giving them the little Jamie treatment. No, no, no. As for the Hall of Fame inductees ceremony, Travis got one. Okay, okay. Y'all know what I'm talking about. You know you got that family member that be saying things nuts, man. That's what WWE is to me. And yes, I watch it religiously. I watch TNA. I watch OVW. I watch Ring of Honor. I watch. I attend indie shows. I do this. I do that. Look. I'm more of a WWE fan, a TNA fan, and yes, I'm aware of their, you know, disappointments and sorts of certain people and certain things. That's why, for some reason, I just, I just can't let them go. I just can't leave them hanging. I just can't. As for the Hall of Fame inductees is concerned, Christian, who is ruled out of WrestleMania, he will be inducting the Rated R Superstar Edge into the Hall of Fame. Edge and Christian tagged One of the best tag teams in WWE history. So you're gonna have an E and C. You're gonna have an E and C reunion of sorts. Yes, I totally agree. Smooth, you funny man. You smooth but funny. Um, as for Edge, there's been a lot of debate on whether he should be inducted this early, a year after his match. I think he was inducted way too soon. Way too soon. A year after he was forced to retire. I mean, I can go through his accomplishments. Money in the Bank winner, Royal Rumble winner. Yes, they. All I know is there better be some flash photography right after Edge and speech. There better be some 5 second photo flash of photography. There better be that. Now you won't be able to see the Hall of Fame until Monday after WrestleMania. You're only gonna most likely see Ric Flair, the Four Horsemen, and Edge. And Mike Tyson. You're most likely gonna see snippets of Tyson, Four Horsemen, and Edge. I think Edge is gonna be the last person to be inducted. He's gonna be the highlight. He's gonna be the main event of the Hall of Fame induction ceremony, even though he is being inducted a year after he retirement. That doesn't happen in other Hall of Fames. You don't retire and then you get inducted. You don't retire and then get into the Hall of Fame a year later. You wait 5 years. Oh, not WWE. Hey, I watch everything. I watch it all. I don't discriminate. I just don't. Alberto Del Rio gonna be inducting Mil Mascaras, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, gonna be inducting the Four Horsemen, and yes, Ric Flair confirmed it, and WWE has confirmed it. He will be there. And I said to Smooth on his show, I said, how funny would it be if this dude, Nature Boy Ric Flair, who is still under contract with TNA, walks in there with an Impact t-shirt? His woo ass will be kicked off the building. His Nature Boy jet flying, kiss stealing, blonde looking self will be kicked off the building. But I do not see that happening. Okay? So anyone that's thinking that he's going to walk in there with an Impact t-shirt, nah. And besides, Ric Flair likes to wear suits, so nice fancy suit. Everybody going to be wearing a suit. Hell, John Cena with his muscular self going to be wearing a suit. I'm telling you. Oh, and speaking of reunions, there's an Edge and Christian reunion. There's going to be a D-Generation X reunion. Shawn Michaels and Triple H will be inducting Iron Mike Tyson into the Hall of Fame. Of course, Mike Tyson was an honorary member of DX prior to WrestleMania 14, which, by the way, was the first WrestleMania I've ever watched on pay-per-view. So, WrestleMania 28, I can say I watched half of WrestleMania. So, if there's going to be a 5 second pose for Edge and Christian, there better be some DX chops from Tyson, Triple H, and HBK. I'm just saying. I wonder how Mike Tyson's inducting speech is going to sound like. You know, first of all, I want to thank all my homies. I want to thank all the people I knocked out. I want to thank everybody for putting up with me. I know it's crazy as hell. I want to thank Stone Cold. I want to thank HBK for allowing me to knock him out. I want to thank WWE. I mean, he was an intimidating fighter, but the way he talks, he's not that intimidating. I could be wrong, but he he sounds like a chipmunk. He sounds like a chipmunk. Also, speaking of reunions in the Hall of Fame induction ceremony, there's an APA reunion. JBL Bradshaw inducts one I'm not the damn guy Simmons. Juan Simmons, of course. Mike Tyson needs to do an encore of In the Air Tonight. That would be fun. Now, Juan Simmons, he's a brother. Hey, I represent for the brothers, you know. And Booker T on Monday Night Raw this past Monday called him one of his mentors. If you think about African American wrestlers, you think of Soulman Milwaukee Johnson. You think of Tony Atlas. You think in the 1990s, WCW, Juan Simmons. And then he was on Nation of Domination with Mark Henry, D'Lo Brown, looking like a damn bobblehead. He looked like a damn bobblehead. I like D'Lo Brown, but he looked like a bobblehead. Yes, there better be a lot. There has to be a flash photography for Asian Christian, some DX chops from Triple H, Shawn Michaels, and Mike Tyson, and how about some APA? I like APA. Those two were hilarious together during the APA days, man. I like APA for Wilk and Bradshaw. You know, drinking beers. Remember with Trish Stratus back in the Attitude Era? Hey-oh! I'm telling you, there was some stuff there. And as I go further here, it's going to be a Samoan-filled Hall of Fame. The Usos, the Will Tag Team of the WWE, they will be inducting the late Yokozuna into the Hall of Fame. The Usos, the Will Tag Team. Not Primo and Epico, not Truth and Kofi, even though I like those two. But the Usos will be inducting Yokozuna into the Hall of Fame. I'm going to do a quick recap on a couple of moments from Raw and SmackDown, starting with SmackDown from last Friday, I should say. Let's see. Henry beats Truth. Big Show beats Kane by DQ. Ryder beats Swagger. Let's see. Khali and Ziggler, they went at it. Oh, Great Khali won. Brodus Clay defeated Heath Slater, the Funkasaurus. I mean, I don't care what y'all think about Brodus Clay, but you know your ass be getting off your chair when that Somebody Call My Mama theme song pops up. You know you be jamming on you be want to dance like you on a Soul Train. Don't be lying to yourselves. You know you be wanting to jam to Somebody Call My Mama. And can I get an old shucky ducky crack to those two women? Naomi and the girl who told Stone Cold Steve Austin that Alicia Fox versus Melina was her greatest match ever. Somebody Call My Mama. You know you be jamming. Don't be lying to yourselves. Of course, AJ defeated Brie Bella, and after AJ wins, Daniel Bryan celebrate like he won the match. And have you all seen Daniel Bryan's Daniel Bryan's Twitter default picture? It's a picture of him with the words yes. He's embracing the yesness. He got the yesness about him. And Stone Cold's reaction, oh my goodness. He was like, oh, what? Alicia Fox versus Melina? I asked you to pick your favorite match, and you picked Alicia Fox versus Melina? let me get to Monday Night Raw recap real quick. Um, Brian and Kane defeated Orton and Sheamus. Santino defeated Otunga, or as he likes to call him, David Puntonga. Miz now joins Team Johnny. Of course, Christian has been ruled out of WrestleMania because of what Punk did, because of what Jericho said. Blame Chris Jericho. Don't blame CM Punk, Christian. Blame CM Punk. Eve and Kelly faced off for the first time ever. And I know people like to go at the Divas division, but I thought that was a somewhat decent match. Now, it wasn't 20, 30 seconds, but I thought it was decent. Um, Brodus Clay defeated Kurt Hawkins. I'm not even going to go further. Uh, Other the fact that Rock and Cena confronted each other one more time. Yeah, technically, they confronted well, they didn't confront each other at the press conference today, but they did confront one another on Monday Night Raw, and it's just so great that WrestleMania is almost here, so those two can just shut up and wrestle. You know what the sad part? I wanted somebody to get punched in the face. Remember last year, leading up to WrestleMania, not Rock, but Cena attitude adjusted Rock, and then Rock got him back at WrestleMania. I wanted someone to get knocked out. Everybody, it seems like some wrestlers just don't want to get hit leading up to WrestleMania. Okay, Vicky Guerrero should have worn camo pants and wear a New Zealand flag shirt. Vicky Guerrero should just come up with stuff other than excuse me. Yeah, I tell you that right now. Yeah, those two went at it, and I like a lot of the trash talking, and I like the fact that these two men absolutely despise each other. They say they respect one another. You watch the Once in a Lifetime documentary on Monday. The respect for one another's there, but they just don't like each other personally. They just don't like each other. Like not your storyline. I hate your guts. Real life. I hate your guts. Cena be like, I hate the fact that you went Hollywood. You sold out, and you know, and Rock be like, I hate. Pardon me or beg your pardon. I don't know. Part you know, if you're gonna say pardon me, you gotta say it in a. She's probably gonna say it in a squeal kind of way. Say it like a squeal, like excuse me when, like a louder, you know, or excuse me. Don't beg your pardon. All right. Um. So now, without further ado, as we get to the last 5 minutes of the show, let's go ahead and get to our WrestleMania predictions, shall we? I always do this on the week prior to a pay-per-view. I go through all the matches and I make my picks on who I think's gonna win. So let's get this match out of the way. Kelly and Maria Menounos taking on Beth Phoenix and Eve. Of course, Maria Menounos is on Dancing with the Stars, has 2 broken ribs. Um, who do I think's is who I think is gonna win, not should win. Who I think. I'm not gonna say who should win, but let's just get this out of the way. And for the love of God, I love Maria Menounos. Stick to Dancing with the Stars, sweetheart. And don't laugh too much. Your laugh creeps me out. I'm picking. You know what? At least for this match, I think Eve and Beth Phoenix should win. The fans win with the Divas match. Damn, Travis is like that. The fans wins in this match. Um, I'm gonna go with. I think because of Maria and her injury, Kelly's gonna do a lot of work, and Maria Marunos is gonna get the pinfall on Beth Phoenix, and I'm gonna say Maria and Kelly win this. And besides, Maria has already pinned Beth Phoenix twice, believe it or not. So yeah. And besides, y'all know this is coming. The celebrity always wins the matches. Celebrity always wins WrestleMania matches. Lawrence Taylor defeated Bam Bam Bigelow. Okay. So yeah, I'm going with Kelly and Maria to win that match. Team Teddy versus Team Johnny. Team Teddy versus Team Johnny. If you have any decency, you will root for Team Teddy. Do you really want to put up? Do you really want to put up with John Laurinaitis twice a week? It's hard enough putting up with him once on the flagship show, but you really want to put up with him? But you really want to put up with Laurinaitis twice a week? I pick Team Teddy to defeat Team Johnny. Cody Rhodes versus The Big Show. Team Teddy so Johnny Ace can get the hell off TV. Alright, Big Show versus Cody Rhodes. I'm on the fence on this one. We have a Snooky Lips with a sad face. Whoever Snooky is, hello, welcome to the show. Big Show, Cody Rhodes. I'm on the fence on this. I want to say Cody Rhodes because of Big Show's WrestleMania disappointments. But I think this would not be a disappointing WrestleMania for one Paul White. Cody Rhodes has been Intercontinental Champion for quite a while. Oh, man. I'm going to go with The Big Show to defeat Cody Rhodes. Somebody just knocked that so-called pretty face of Cody Rhodes. One time. Knock him out, Big Show. Here we go here. Let's Wendy Orton versus Kane. Randall, as CM Punk likes to call him, takes on Kane. Now, of course, Wendy Orton had nothing to do, had no storyline or anything. He had no one to blend with. So WWE said, you know what? Let's put you against the big red monster Kane. You coming off of your concussion, and we want you to get you a match. So let's just fit you in with Kane. Kane ain't got nothing to do. Orton ain't got nothing to do. Let's put y'all two together. Now, Wendy Orton, this is probably going to be the least interesting match. And I never thought I'd say that as far as, to X out that Divas match, I say Orton and Kane will be the least interesting match. I'm going to go with Orton to defeat Kane. Now that we got the mid-card stuff out of the way, let's get to the top 4 matches. And we start out with Sheamus versus Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan has been World Heavyweight Champion for 100 days and counting. He's for over 100 days. Sheamus and Daniel Bryan are coming into WrestleMania with chips on their shoulders. as I was talking to Austin, these two men didn't even have their match on the telecast. It would be the war to make us snore. Guess you're referring to Kane Orton. Sheamus and Bryan, um, they got a chip on their shoulder. Sheamus and Bryan, they got a lot to. They have a huge chip on their shoulder, considering their match from last year didn't even make the pay per view telecast. So they're gonna want to put out a great match. So as for who I think is going to win, Daniel Bryan has had his one. He have had his one. But I'm going with the great white. I'm going with the great white fella to win and put an end to this Royal Rumble snide. You know that a Royal Rumble winner hasn't been a champion in the same year's WrestleMania since 06, 07? Let me tell you something. I'm going with was it a dark match? Yes, it was. It as far as Sheamus and Daniel Bryan, it was it was pretty much a dark match, I guess, if that's how you want to say it. Yeah, it was a dark match. It did not make the pay-per-view telecast. If you got the WrestleMania DVD, it's there as an extra, a bonus. So, um, there you go. I'm gonna go with Sheamus. I'm gonna go with the Great White Fella. Then we get with Triple H and Undertaker. I know a lot of people are begging for this streak to end. These two men had the match last year. Undertaker won, but Triple H was left standing. Now they're gonna be in a Hell in a Cell match. Uh, I don't think Daniel Bryan's gonna stop saying yes, even if he does lose the belt, because he still got the chick. He can say yes to her. As for Triple H and Undertaker, I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go with Triple H to end the streak. I'm gonna go with Triple H. And Shawn Michaels is going to play a role. And you know what he said. He know who's going to win the match. You know. I will say this. I'm going to go with Triple H. I think, look, the Undertaker streak is going to end at some point. Why not this? Why not on the quote-unquote end of an era? If Undertaker loses, it's not going to make me think less of him. But the streak has gone on long enough. You had great matches with Shawn Michaels. We get it. But I'm going to go with HHH. If Triple H wins, if Triple H wins, nobody is getting out of there alive. There will be a riot. Well, the streak has to end. I think the streak should end this year. I mean, enough. You're 19-0. We get it. You're good, Undertaker. But I can understand why people don't want this streak to end, especially if you lose to the son-in-law of one Vincent Kennedy McMahon. I get it. If you lose to the son-in-law of Vincent Kennedy McMahon, then people are like, oh, Vince McMahon did this. I mean, and you know what? Shawn Michaels, he's the guest referee. And you never know what he gonna do. Or maybe Shawn Michaels don't want that to happen because he had the better matches of the Undertaker streak, and he came up as close as anybody. He came up more close than anybody. Um, Shawn Michaels got a lot to think about, but for the hell of it, I'll go against the grain. I'll go with Triple H. CM Punk versus Chris Jericho. Best in the world versus best in the world. Best in the world versus best in the world. Rockstar versus Straight Edge. If he does lose, it should be next year to someone it could elevate. So, you talking about a young up and comer, like a pass the torch type of deal, you know. If someone could elevate like a young up and comer, I get where you're coming from, Smooth. Now on to Punk and Jericho. Of course, Smooth and I talked a little bit about this. The whole mentioning Punk's family members. I'm not a fan of all that. Like, talk about the title, talk about what y'all gonna do to each other, but leave family out of it. And Chris Jericho, Christopher, really, you're in the WWE, you're out of the WWE, now you come back, and you want to talk about people's family? As for who I think is going to win, people are going to assume, well, Chris Jericho back to be second fiddle. He feels he should be the WWE champion. CM Punk has been champion since Survivor Series of last year. I believe he defeated Alberto Del Rio. I don't want CM Punk's title reign to end courtesy of Jericho. It could happen, but I'm gonna go with CM Punk. I'm gonna say he's gonna win, and he's gonna show that he's the better man. Now, is he the best in the world? That's up to debate. And Chris Jericho, as far as his gimmick is the same one before he left the second time, except he's wearing a flashy jacket. His current gimmick is the same one that it was before the second time he was with the WWE before he left. I am the best in the world at what I do. He went for saying it with a suit, now he's saying it with a flashy jacket. He could cause a lot of electricity problems. I wonder how people feel wrestling against Chris Jericho after he takes that jacket off and they do all that armbar stuff and they realize, damn Jericho, you warm. You know that, right? You should be wearing that damn jacket. Jericho could win if they finally bring the she from the videos. That should be good. I'm going with Punk to win. And Rock versus Cena, once in a lifetime, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I'm kidding. It is once in a lifetime. And you notice Cena has been saying it. Rock has been saying it. The biggest match. Not the best. The biggest match. That's a big difference. Big match means it's going to be noticed for many years to come. It's not going to be remembered the same way that HBK and Undertaker at WrestleMania a couple years ago. It's going to be big. It's going to be anticipated. It's going to be hyped. I don't think it's going to be better than Punk and Jericho, but it is intriguing. It's interesting. Two men, two generations going at it. We haven't seen this since Walk and Hogan in WrestleMania 18. Um, and I know people are just begging. Yeah, Hogan and Andre. Hogan and Andre. Yes, I'm aware of that. I'm aware of Hogan versus Andre. Yeah, I'm totally aware. Uh, as far as that match is concerned, Hogan and Andre, people hyped that match a lot. Hogan was on his way up. Andre was at the end of the career, of his career, I should say. It's right up there with Walker and Hogan, Andre and Hogan. Hype, built up anticipation. Only difference is this match was booked a year in advance, a year prior. Now, as far as look, I'm a Cena fan, and I'm not afraid to say it. But I think The Rock is going to win. And do I see John Cena turning heel at this year's WrestleMania? He's going to get the heel treatment. He's going to get the bulls. You know? Well, wasn't that a 4-minute match? It was probably 10, 15 minutes. I don't think it was that short. I don't think Andre and I don't think Hogan and Andre, it was built up so much, and you got this 500-pound guy going up against a small but muscular guy. You know, yes, yes. Look, I'm a I'm gonna go with The Rock to defeat John Cena, and it's okay because they won't let me think less of John Cena if that were the case. It's in Miami. It's in his hometown crowd, Miami, Florida. Okay, I'm gonna go with The Rock to win, and John Cena will not be turning heel. I don't know if it's Cena holding himself back. I don't know if it's Vince. I don't know if it's the people that's doing the storylines. But something is avoiding Cena turning heel. You can only go at the two guys on that situation. That's Vince and Cena. At some point, people want it to happen. Hoping Cena turning heel, it's like you hoping that Dr. Dre's Detox is coming out. You're going to be waiting for a very long time. You like that analogy? Hoping Cena is turning heel is like waiting on the Dr. Dre Detox album. You're going to be waiting for a long time. So, but I'm picking The Rock to win. I'm getting out of here. It's 15 minutes after. I went overtime because the show started late. I do want to thank Rico Vega for calling in. I thank Austin Lane. And I thank Miss Rachel for calling in. Please follow the show on Twitter at TTW Radio. Like the Facebook fan page, facebook.com/Triple Threat Wrestling Radio. And check out the TTW Radio tab over at chillerbroadcasting.com. uh, Travis, man. Wait, it's not coming out? Son of a. you know, that Detox album, I don't think. It's been a decade he's been working on it, and it's yet to be released. So, I don't see it coming out. I really don't. I'll believe it when I walk into a record store and see Dr. Dre Detox. But it's not coming out. And I don't see Cena turning heel. I'll be shocked if that happens. But I don't see it happening. All right, y'all. I'm about to get on out of here. Triple Threat Western Radio will be on Wednesday for the next 2 weeks, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. And then, of course, we'll be back on Thursdays at April the 19th. That's a week after the 1 year anniversary show. Thank you to Travis, Smooth, and Rockin' Man, and other notable people that was in here in the chat room. Check out ITMI Radio. And check out my other show, Chilling with Jeff and Kenny C, Saturdays, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 Central, 6 p.m. Pacific. That's like rap answers to Chinese democracy. Yeah, right? Yeah. Dr. Dre, stop with the headphones and release the damn album already. But I don't see it happening. I'm about to get out. Good evening. Have a good night. Have a great week. Um, Again, I'll see y'all next Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. And please, as I promote this man yet again, as I promote this show once again, Smooth Gentleman, Court of Champions. Check him out. Court of Champions, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. Check this man out, itmiradio.com/Court of Champions. For everybody else, I am Kenny C, signing off. You all take care. And I'm out the building. You all have a good night. This is the part when Kenny is supposed to end. But the same broadcaster that's acting like a poop head. Here we go. Good night, everybody. Alright. Kenny is off the air. Nobody can hear me on ITMI radio right now. And I missed 19 minutes of psych. Damn it. Hot damn it.